So, the previous class, we were discussing about method overriding, right? Yeah, let us see a new topic like casting. Okay, casting means it is converting one into another, one type into another. Okay, so we can write what is casting. Casting is the process of converting one type into another type. Casting is a process of converting one type into another type. So, types of casting. We have two types of casting. One is primitive casting and derived casting. Okay. So, what do you mean by primitive casting? So, converting one primitive type to another primitive type is called as primitive casting. Okay, that means you know we have several types of primitive data. That is like I'm explaining about primitive casting. So one first, the smallest variable is byte. Then short, int, long, float. Numbers only I'll take. Okay. And the big one is double. Okay. Now I'll write the primitive short, int, long, float, and double. Okay. So assume that byte stores 1 liter of water. Assume these are all water bottles. 1 liter, 2 liters, 3 liter, 4, 5, and 6. So which is the biggest in size? Double. Okay. Now, can you put 2 liter of water in 6 liter of water? Can? Yes, you can put. But can you put 6 liter of water in 2 liter of water? Can? Not possible. You can put only 2 liters, but 4 liters are wasted. Yes or no? So here, the process of converting lower primitive to higher primitive is called as widening. It's called as widening. The process of converting lower primitive to higher primitive. So how to convert this? So suppose you take integer data and you try to store it in a double value. Okay, you need to store it in a double value, integer data into double. So when you are doing that, conversion is mandatory. Convert this into double. 10 convert into double, store it in a double. But in widening, this conversion is not required. Conversion is not mandatory. Even if you write also, no problem. If you don't write, automatically it will convert. So that's why we say widening as auto widening. Understanding this, why we say auto widening? Conversion is not mandatory. Even if you try to convert, there is no problem. Okay, but if you convert, there is no problem. It is not mandatory. Compiler will add the conversion. So if you consider here, so in primitive casting, one of the type is widening. Widening is converting lower primitive to higher primitive. Is called as widening. Write this. Write this diagram. So take 10, okay, data 10, store it in a double D. Is it throwing any error? It is not throwing any error. Right? Is it throwing any error? No. If you convert, no problem, that is your wish. If you won't convert, automatically it would be converted. See the output 10.0. 10.0. Correct? Huh? So this is called as widening. The process of converting higher primitive to lower primitive. Higher primitive to, this is lower primitive to higher primitive is called as widening, right? Auto widening. It is a process of converting it is a process of converting lower primitive to higher primitive. Is called as widening. Lower primitive to higher primitive is called as widening. In widening, conversion happens implicitly. Conversion happens implicitly. So it is also called as auto widening. So it is also called as auto widening. So it is also called as auto widening. So you can see integer is the lower primitive data and you are trying to store lower primitive data into higher primitive. Okay. Now let us try to store higher primitive data, double value 10.02 is a double, no, decimal value. Try to store it in an integer. Right? Now here it is throwing error. So here conversion is mandatory. Here conversion is mandatory. In widening, conversion is not mandatory, but in narrowing, this is called as narrowing. So you need to explicitly convert. Explicit narrowing we say. Why? Conversion is mandatory. Understanding this? Say for example 10.02, try to store it in a integer I. You need a conversion mandatorily int. Okay, this is mandatorily required. Understanding this? Okay, right. Narrowing. It is the process of converting higher primitive to lower primitive. Higher primitive to lower primitive. When there is a conversion, when there is a conversion, there is a loss of data. There is a loss of data. That means 6 liter of water, you cannot put it in 5 liter of water. Can possible? Not possible. You can put only 1 liter. Rest 4 liters are wasted. Correct? Same way with others also. So here you see the code. Here, when I run this program, you can see the output. The output is 10. Output is 10. Decimal value is gone. There is a loss of data. Make a note of this. It's, done guys. So widening means what? It is a process of converting lower primitive to higher primitive. Narrowing means it is a process of converting higher primitive to lower primitive. Widening happens implicitly, so it is also called as auto widening. Okay, narrowing mandatorily, explicitly, user should convert. So we say this as explicit narrowing. Okay, so one simple example I will show you here. Int I is equals to 65. Sorry. Int I is equals to capital A. What will be the output for this? capital A. Okay. So now tell me, is this narrowing or widening? Conversion is not mandatory. Implicitly happened. This is widening, no? Correct. This is called as widening. Character, you are trying to store it in an integer. I didn't write in the diagram, but character also include here. Okay. Character is lesser than the integer. So it is also called as widening. Character you are trying to store in integer. When you run this, you can see the output saying 65. Okay. So this is one. This printing ASCII value. So int, okay, char ch is equals to 10, 66. This is also widening. What will be the output? Okay. Make a note of this example. Then, okay. So this is about primitive casting. Primitive casting is a process of converting one primitive type to another primitive type. Next comes derived casting. Right heading, derived casting. So guys, derived casting are of two types. One is upcasting. Upcasting. Second one is downcasting. What do you mean by upcasting? So guys, upcasting is a process of converting. Okay. So if you want to do derived casting, what do you mean by derived variable? Object holds no that variable. A1 is equals to nu of A. A1 is a variable. Okay, these are derived variables. Say for example, if you consider two classes, and this is class A and this is class B, extends class A. Okay. Now let us assume I have a method like test1 method here and test2. Here I have test3 and test4. Now totally how many methods are there in class B? Huh? 4. Inherited, no? Yes or no? So now A1 is a variable or obj whatever. This is a derived variable. For B1 I will write. A1 can hold A1 object. B1 can hold B1 object. Yes or no? No. A1 can hold two members, B1 can hold four members. Yes or no? Yes or no? A1 reference can hold how many members? A1 reference two, test 1 and test 2. B1 for which capacity is more? Subclass reference. Correct. Now, so in derived casting is nothing but it is converting one reference variable to another reference variable. Okay, one derived variable to another derived variable. Say for example, okay, if you create A1 is equals to new, okay, first let me create B1 is equals to new of B. So I created object of B. Yes or no? Huh? Now this B1 reference, if you try to store it in A1 reference, what you are doing? You created a reference of B. Subclass reference you created, yes or no? Huh? And you try to store A1 to B1. Sorry, B1 to A1. Okay. If you try to store subclass reference, B1 is a subclass reference, A1 is a superclass reference. If you try to store subclass reference to superclass reference, this is called as upcasting. Okay, you can write like this also, or this is two line. Directly you can write like A1 is equals to new of B. Directly you can write. Create an object of subclass, assign it to superclass reference. This is also called as upcasting. Okay. Now, in B, how many objects we have? Four members. But A1 can store how many members? Okay. It is just like, okay, let us assume we are like six members, seven members here, or six members, assume. The three members are from A class. These are from the other three members are from B class. Assume I am coming in. I am a reference of A1. I won't recognize you people. I will recognize only those people. One, two, three. The members of A class. A1 can see only the things of A. B1 can see only the things of B. Understanding this? So this an object, okay, in object behaves differently through different variables. It is just like I have a variable, I have a box, inside that I have six variables. Assume if you see that box through A1 variable, A1 derived variable, you can see only three. If you see through B1, you can see all the six. Understanding this? Okay, so this is how Java works. This is how Java works, and this is how we achieve polymorphism. Polymorphism. What do you mean by polymorphism? In some state, we don't need all the features to be executed, all the functionalities to be executed. Okay, that time what you can do, you can achieve casting. Instead of writing the code separately, okay, so in subclass, you know everything you will be having. Everything. Okay, say for example, I'll show you. I'll take a class, okay, a car manufacturing company. Okay, so a basic car requires what? What are the features required? Okay, void engine, SYSO, Oh, I am talking about only car. Engine means gear, everything. Engine, car engine. One more. Tell only two methods. Enough. Void. What gear? Ah, body. Seat comes to interior. What was that? Car body. Okay. I wrote simply two methods. Now, now class interior. Interior extends the car. Yes or no? Now these two methods came. Void. You need engine and body to attach a seat. Correct? Void seat. Seat of a car. Data. Any other? Void dashboard. Okay. So totally, how many methods we have in interior? Four methods. 2 plus 2. One is of interior. Okay. Next. Class. Okay. Sales or billing extends interior only. Okay. Void check. Void through cache. Okay. So now how many classes we have? Six. Three classes: car, interior, and billing. Correct? Car interior extends car, billing extends interior. Okay. I wrote like this. So now I create an object of billing. New of billing. Billing consists of all the methods now. Is equals to billing b1. Right? b1 dot, can you see all the methods? Body, cache, check, dashboard, engine, seat. Visible? So all the methods are visible. But what you do, change the reference variable. Change it to interior. You can see body, dashboard, seat, and what? Engine. See? Only four methods. Why four methods? Only four methods are there. Correct? But which object you have? Billing object you have. Understanding? When you are seeing that billing object have how many methods? All the six methods we have. This is billing object. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you are seeing the variable through billing, you can see all the six methods. If you are seeing the object using interior reference, you can see only four methods. If you are seeing through car reference, you can see only two methods. Understanding this? Object is one only. Its behavior keep on changing. Did you understood? When you do upcasting, it will lose the properties. When you do upcasting, it will lose the properties. Upcasting is a process of, okay, creating subclass object and assigning to the superclass reference. Right. Upcasting is a process of converting upcasting is a process of converting subclass reference to superclass reference. Or more definition, or it is a process of converting sorry, it is a process where we create subclass object. It is a process where we create subclass object subclass object and assign to the superclass reference. Assign to the superclass reference. Done guys? No. Next. So downcasting. So it is simply say, like you have a mountain. Okay. If you want to come down, you need to climb it. So when you do upcasting, then only you can do downcasting. Okay, direct downcasting is not possible in Java. Okay, direct downcasting. See the subcasting, downcasting, all the concept depends on your subclass object. Object will be one. Only one object we will create. Which is richer in the properties here? Which is richer? Car, interior, building. Building, common sense. Correct, no? So one object is enough. I will get everything inside that. Correct. So Java provides in such a way that, boss, if you want only interior, view through interior reference. You don't need other methods. If you want to view only car methods, view through car methods. Okay. Now you did upcasting. Once after upcasting, see, I will what I will do. I will write car C1. Okay, na? Okay. Now I am removing this interior. Okay. I don't want. I have only car and billing. Okay, two class. One is car, one is billing. Very simple. So new of billing, car C1. So how to do downcasting? Create a billing reference is equals to C1. So superclass reference to subclass reference, if you convert superclass reference to subclass reference, if you convert, okay, this is upcasting, I will say. Subclass reference to superclass reference. Superclass reference to reference is called as downcasting. For downcasting, conversion is mandatory. You need to convert. That means if you want to store the C1 to B1, you need to convert that into billing type. Else it will throw error. For upcasting, conversion is not required. For downcasting, conversion is required. Understanding this? So when you do downcasting, what happens? Your all the methods you can see. All the again it is reactivated. It was hidden, no? So when you see the C1 reference, you can see only two methods. Only car methods, body and engine you can see. There is no option of payment. But when you did downcasting, you can see all the methods. Okay, that is the difference. Make a note. Write this only. This program, example program. Okay. This is called as upcasting. Comment and write here. And this is called as downcasting. Done guys. So that's all for today. So we saw like uh, casting. What is casting? Primitive casting and derived casting. So in primitive casting we saw auto widening and explicit narrowing. In derived casting we saw upcasting and downcasting. So tomorrow we will see polymorphism. Okay. So what is polymorphism? What are the why Java requires polymorphism? Polymorphism. See, in our life only, we are humans. We started as a kid. Ourselves started as a kid, and responsibilities keeps on changing. We became students. Correct? Primary, high school, then college students, then became graduates, then became citizens. Yes or no? But only we. Our characters keep on changing. Yes or no? So in Java also the same logic. One object, multiple behavior. Multiple behavior. That is called as polymorphism. Correct? So that is what we are going to learn that tomorrow. Thank you guys.